Alright, so while changing the fuel pump on my Nissan D21, I saw this. It's called a carrier bearing, or a drive shaft carrier bearing. I've never really changed one before. I've only seen them on very large trucks or very small Japanese cars. This is what it looks like. O'Reilly's had it for 89 bucks. Amazon had it for 23, so I went with the Amazon $23 one, and we'll see how it goes. Well, first thing I want to do is, after I got it up on jack stands, I chose jack stands or ramps instead of jack stands because, well, if it falls off of a jack stand, I'm crushed. But it's sitting on its own weight, so it really can't crush me unless it rolls down that ramp, which I got the brakes set and I'm going to chalk the wheels. Anyhow, first thing I want to do is mark the drive shaft, mark all the stuff so I can put it back the way it came. That's really not the first thing I'm going to do. That's going to be the second thing I'm going to do. Now, I think it's going to be the third thing I'm going to do. I'm going to line up all these marks. I'll have everything right back where it belongs. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is get these little teeny tiny, I think, 8mm bolts off to get the sleeves off. Let's see. I don't think I need to change the U-joint, but now would be the time if it needs it. Look how rusty and crusty that is. Oh, I can't get the drive shafts apart. Son of a bitch. Alright, so this is the rear differential. I tried to get the front drive shaft off, but it doesn't slide into the transmission enough to separate them. So I'm gonna have to try to take the rear drive shaft off, and it's 4 14mm nuts and bolts. And again, I'm gonna mark everything so I get it off. And man, what a pain in the butt. Nissan, you should have hired Germans to engineer your vehicles. Alright, so the problem I have with this bolt is you really can't fit a socket in there on it. The back side, you can't really get to it either. So I'm going to use my back box end wrench on this side and the spanner on this side. Nissan, you get an F for engineering. Like from the front, busted out bearings to here to the back. I think I'm gonna have to get a little tappy to get that out. The drive shaft came apart as I was carrying it to the shop. Alright, so this has got to come off. First thing I'm going to do is spray it down with some good old lubricant. I'll take my marker and mark this and the nut and everything so it all goes back on the way it came. Put a mark here in the drive shaft. And just like when I did my yoke on my Jeep, I'm going to count the threads here. 1, 2, 3. 24 millimeter.
Whoa!
Looks like there's a big ass washer, maybe. Now let's see how the yoke comes off. I think it's just going to need a little crystal blue persuasion. There's that big ass washer. And then put that socket in there like that. And then use these jaw pullers. And it just pulled it right out. Lickety split. No pounding. I wish I would have thought of that to begin with. Now we got to figure out how to get this thing off. Ugh. Well, that's half of the battle. But I'm gonna guess, since this has these things, and these, well, you couldn't see it, but these nubs were on the inside. So let's see. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna put these nubs on the inside. Let's see if we get that on there. What I'm gonna do is find a socket that fits that to tap it on. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. It's got a little bit of surface rust, and now I'm gonna grease the living snot out of it. How do you make your Nissan run better? Add a little Ford Lincoln Mercury grease to it. And go like grease lightning. Just slather it on. .32 millimeter socket seemed to fit it well. Like a glove. Add a little more grease to the inside of that. Tell you what, I'm going to add some grease to the inside here of this. A little bit of lube is always a good thing. Okay, so I line up my marks. There it is, one shiny new drive shaft all put back together. Now on this end, I want to make sure I don't have any crap and crud in there. Feels a little sandy. I think I'm going to clean this out with brake clean, which I should have put something over it. And while I'm here, I'm inspecting my U-joints, and they feel really good. Oh yeah. Oh, finger's stuck. Yeah, much better. I'm just going to load it up with a little bit more Ford grease. Alright, so now I'm going to take my cleanest shop rag, wrap it around it, add a magic zip tie. Now we're ready to put that bad boy in the truck, but first I'm going to clean up this mess I've made. Alright, got the two drive shafts here. They're both U-joints are pretty good shape on both of them. Got the new collar on. I'm going to try putting the front one in first and then the back one. Front one I think is going to be the hardest one. I'm going to go take my rag off. Ah, yeah. Ah, that slid all the ways in. Our bottom bracket, I guess you'd call it. Now this top bracket goes back up. One bolt in the back holding it on. I didn't film it, but don't forget to put all 4 bolts back in. Now here, I almost fell on my face. I don't know what we're going to do with this, but this has to be seated into that, and that feels like that should have to slide out, which it does. There we go. Alright, I need the straps and the bolts. Alright, here it is in all its glory, but I did ride the struggle bus putting this bolt in on here. I would definitely recommend putting that bolt in first, and then put that one in. And you're gonna have to push it back because this new bushing wants to push it forward, but you can slide the axle around or the drive shaft around to get it where you need to go. I lost this nut or bolt, but luckily the same bolt on my Dana 30 on my Jeep holds the U-joints on, so I had a bunch of spares, so I was able to do that. And then when I'm putting everything away, I find that. Who knows? There you have it. Carrier bearing was a lot easier to replace than the fuel filter on this thing. I'll let you know how the cheap Amazon one works. It seems to go on, seemed to be about the same quality that was on there to begin with. I got some time to kill. Check out some of my other fine videos, like this one here. This one's really good. This one down there is really, I'm not flexible, huh? That one down there is pretty good too, also. If you want to be lulled to sleep, check out my podcast, 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast. It's a podcast for the off-roader with short attention span. I'll put a little card for it up here. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Got something to say, leave a comment down below. I appreciate it. And thanks for watching.